That's it. Shall we dance? Oh, you can't miss it. But I'll tell you what, right now, it's a matter of getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Yes.
And we have both Anna and the King here. And I want to make sure that I pronounce your real names correctly. Jill Tiesketter. How did I do?
Perfect.
Okay. Alan Ariano,
That's it.
otherwise known as the King of Siam, whose real name was...
Phra Maha Mongut, King Mongut.
Could we just call you Alan, though, during
Absolutely.
the interview?
I
Is
prefer
it-
that.
Is it one of those things? We had Lou Diamond Phillips here a couple of years ago, and I asked him the same thing, and it occurs to me that every actor goes through the same trial with people expecting a bald guy to come out for the entrance. Once you're doing this, you're always going to be compared with Yul Brynner.
Unfortunately, that is the case, yes. And I always have to tell people that historically, King Mongut was not bald, and so we're trying to...
But Yul was.
But Yul was,
yeah.
correct. In fact, he had partial hair, and they just thought, well, you know what, let's clean this up and let's just shave it all off for the role. And then it became iconic, and that's what everyone associates the King to be.
And I guess everybody has seen the movie. I'm making the assumption that you did. Does that get in the way of your interpretation of Anna?
No, actually, and I didn't know much about the show until I got cast. And so then I started doing a little bit of research, but I didn't want to do too much because I didn't want to be swayed one way or the other. I really wanted to have an honest approach to it. So I did watch the movie, but that's as far as it went at that point, and then I just kind of let the director take over.
And you know, when the movie came out and when the play was first done musically, and when the book was written, people were not as sensitive then about the stories of gender discrimination
Yeah.
as exists. Do you feel that that message resonates even better now?
Yes, yes. I think that Anna's important to a lot of women nowadays because she's so strong, and for that time to be in Siam and be a feminist like she is, sort of, and very, I don't know, I think it's really important.
With a son.
Yes.
And I just think it's one of the great romantic stories of all time.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. I mean, it's two people discovering each other with, set in this time and in this setting, with the clash of cultures and then the clash of their personalities, the battle of the sexes, for lack of better phrases, and them discovering each other through those conflicts. It's universal, I think it's what all relationships go through, the fight and the push and shove.
And then there's the story of the actor who refused to allow any young actors on stage in Broadway because he just refused to let go of the show that you were in Miss Saigon. Right?
Correct.
Well, you were there for 140 years.
It felt like 140
Did your
years.
parents tell you there is no future in theater? You can't retain a job very long. How long did you do that show?
I did that show 10 years to the day. 10 years to the day.
That's astounding that any
Yeah.
actor would be in any show on Broadway for 10 years.
I feel fortunate and blessed, and at that time it was my fourth show. I didn't think any show would run, so I started my own business, and I said, you know what, I'm going to ride this out 1 year, 2 years, unbeknownst to me that it would go 10 years.
And you were actually eating all that time and paying your rent.
I was paying my rent, and that's the thing. Is like I got on Broadway and I said, well, I don't want to be a struggling actor anymore. So I'm going to create my own business, and I like this lifestyle that Broadway allowed me, and so I dropped my agent and I said I'm not going to audition anymore, and my side job ran 10 years. It was really very nice.
Don't you love it? when an actor gets a job, the first thing he does is fire his agent. All right, now listen, we don't expect you to necessarily be on stage at the Arizona Broadway Theatre for 10 years, although it would be nice in this role.
I would love it.
How long does the play run?
It runs until February 15th. That's when we close.
We've only got a
So just
little
1 week
time
left.
then left, right? Okay. And what a terrific time, Valentine's Week, for a love story like this. Because it really is a love story, isn't it?
It is a love story, but kind of an unconventional one. It's not what you would expect for a musical theater show. There is another love story that kind of follows along in the script with 2 other characters, but ours is much more about figuring each other out and our respect for each other in the end and understanding someone who's completely different from yourself.
And you're doing the unthinkable. You're working with children on stage. Didn't you hear you shouldn't do that?
But I tend to keep getting cast in those roles, so.
Okay, is this right now, and you can say this because the management of the theater is not listening right now, is this your favorite musical?
Yes.
Why?
It is now, because it took me by surprise and I fell in love with it and I didn't expect to. I don't know why I didn't expect to, but I truly did, and I'm so blessed to be able to do it.
And if they asked you to shave your head, would you consider it for the right money?
I would, in all honesty. And in all honesty, they did ask me to. And I had to just say to them that culturally it's incorrect and historically
Good.
Unfactual. So.
You look far more like a king.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you.
far more than Lou Diamond Phillips did, too. Okay, going through the 15th, Arizona Broadway Theatre, Peoria. Isn't it nice, though, that we got to know everybody? That's part of the show. And this is Pat McMahon.